Many people today think of Michael Jackson as an enigma. It's ironic that 20 some years ago, his father Joseph was thought of in exactly the same way, if not by the public, most certainly by his family and friends. Sometimes I think he leads a double life. Michael said of his father back then, he is a very mysterious person, of course. Joseph's other life involved the women with whom he had as assignations outside of his marriage. But there was more. In 1980, office employees at Joseph Jackson Productions began to suspect that their boss was trying to hide more than just infidelity. By early 1980, a 19-year-old employee named Gina Sprague had become particularly close to Joseph. Gina is of Mexican English Irish descent. At 5'5", 100 pounds with shoulder-length brown hair, she was mischievous, intelligent, and gorgeous. Joseph was taken by her. However, she insisted that she and Joseph were not having an affair, though many Jackson intimates did not believe her. They were, she says, just close friends. He needed a friend, she said. He was so estranged from his family. Sometimes he would need to talk. I was there for him. I know he had a reputation of being a womanizer, but that was not what our relationship was about. If he believed in you, he gave you enough strength and courage to try to attain your goal. If you didn't think you could do it. Once I knew him, I could understand why the family had become superstars. I had to remind Joseph that he should be proud. I used to tell him, sure, Michael and the rest get all the attention, but look at where they came from. The kid hates my guts, he said, Michael. I said, Joseph, that's not true. He said, you haven't seen the way he looked at me. There were tears in his eyes. The kid hates me, Gina. Hates my guts. They all do. One thing that has struck me over strange is that Michael and his brothers and sisters called him Joseph. She recalled, the first time Janet came into my office, she was about 13. She walked in and in a very flip manner said, hello, where's Joseph? Or Michael would call, hello, Gina, this is Michael. Is Joseph there? I would say, your father isn't me at the moment. One day, Gina, concerned about Joseph's recent miracle behavior and mysterious disappearances, asked him what was going on in his life. I'm not telling you, he said with some hesitation, and instead, I'll show you. Joseph then drove Gina to a building in a suburban Los Angeles neighborhood where he introduced Gina to Sheer Terrell. Then a small African American child of about 6 years of age came bounding into the living room. Daddy, Daddy, she exclaimed. There she is, Joseph said with a big smile. My little girl. She scooped the child up in his arms and hugged her tightly. As he later explained it, Joe and Shertero had an affair in 1973. The result of the relationship was a daughter, Giovanni, born in Los Angeles on August 30th, 1974, the day after Michael's 16th birthday. Joseph Walter Jackson's name appears in the birth certificate. His occupation is listed as entertainment manager. His age was recorded as 46 at the time of the baby's birth. The mother's age, 26. Joseph kept the secret for many years, but by 1980 he had decided to tell his family about his daughter. He wanted to become more involved in her upbringing and wanted her to be recognized as a member of the family. After breaking the ice with Gina, Joseph gathered his sons together in the dressing room after a performance to tell them that they had a half sister. One can only wonder what he thought the reaction to such news might be, and why he decided to tell them the news before telling Catherine. Of course, they were all upset. The sons then told the daughters, who were also hurt and angry. The children then wrestled with the question of how to tell Catherine, or if they should tell her. What a burn it was for them to have this information. In the end, according to Latoya, one of the brothers, it's not even known which one, told Catherine, of course, she was overcome with understandable emotions. After she and Joseph had it out, there was nothing to do but deal with the situation as it existed. As a practical woman committed to family values, Catherine put her feelings aside and agreed that Joseph had a responsibility to Giovanni and to her mother. As a way of providing for them, she and Joseph purchased a three-bedroom home in Venice, a suburb of Los Angeles, for $169,000 as a trustee of his daughter's estate. Joseph then signed the property over to Giovanni. She and her mother then moved into the home. Catherine could not do no more than that. Her nephew, Tim Wyatt, Tim's mother was Catherine's sister, Haiti, and his father was Joseph's stepsister, Vernon, said Joseph wanted the child to be accepted into the family, but there was no way that was going to happen, I'm afraid. It was too painful for my aunt and for the children. This was difficult, heartbreaking. According to Jerome Howard, Joseph and Catherine's former finance manager, Catherine told me she went up into the grocery store one day and saw Joseph's girlfriend and the daughter. She said she just stood there frozen. Jerome, the girl looked exactly like Joseph, she said. Though Catherine seemed to be acting in a logical and sensible manner, she was not as unfazed by the news of Giovanni's existence as she may have wanted people to believe. Michael would indicate later that it was at this time that he sensed an emotional transformation in his mother. She rarely smiled during these days. Her temper would flare over unimportant matters. She even swore from time to time, which was unusual. She had called Giovanni a bastard. When Michael protested, she suggested that if he looked up the word in the dictionary, he'll find that she was using it properly. Apparently, Joseph's insurrections had worn her down, stripped away of her self-esteem, her pride. She now sometimes feel bitter and angry. Even though Catherine was going through an ordeal and the family was being torn apart by the recent turn of events, the Jacksons had no choice but to continue to express a strong sense of unity to the media. Public relations was an important consideration. The family had been turned away from reality and toward image making ever since they arrived in Los Angeles from Geary. However, for Michael, nothing will ever be the same. Joseph's actions have resulted in the ultimate betrayal of his mother. Indeed, his entire family and Michael will have a difficult time dealing with his father on any level for many years. Despite what people have thought, Michael somehow expected more from his father. The captain was clearly angry and had good reason to be. She was a religious woman who desperately wanted to be a forgiving Jehovah's Witness. She would not be confided in anyone but her fury, and would not discuss her hurt over what happened with Shertero and Giovanni. It was just a matter of time before her suppressed rage would erupt, especially when she heard rumors in the summer of 1980 that Joseph was having an affair with Gina Sprague, the woman in whom he had first confided with Giovanni, or about Giovanni. Some of her friends felt that Catherine Jackson was much like a time bomb, ticking, 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 about to explode.